The impossible signal. The signal wasn't supposed to exist. Admiral Sarah Chen stared at the holographic display floating above her command desk, watching impossible data stream across the screen. After 15 years of silence, after memorial, services and closed files, the exploration vessel Quantum Dawn was broadcasting again. Her fingers trembled as she reached for the secure communication panel. The Earth Defense Command Center buzzed with urgent activity around her, but Chen felt isolated in a bubble of disbelief. The Quantum Dawn had vanished beyond the outer rim, past the boundaries the hegemony had forbidden humanity to cross. No human vessel had returned from those dark sectors, ever. The transmission was clean, no distortion despite originating from deep space. Chen had seen enough ghost signals in her 30-year career to know the difference. This was real. The ship's identification codes matched perfectly, but something was wrong with the energy signatures. The readings made no sense according to known physics. Admiral, incoming priority message from Hegemony Command, Lieutenant Torres announced from the communication station. Chen's jaw tightened. The alien overlords who had controlled human space for the past century didn't appreciate surprises, especially ones involving lost human ships returning with impossible technology. Chen activated her personal communicator. "Get me Captain Morrison, from the Luna Defense Grid. Priority Alpha clearance only." She needed human eyes on this before the hegemony decided how to respond. More importantly, she needed to know if the crew was still human. The Quantum Dawn had been Earth's most advanced exploration vessel when it departed in 2372. Captain Elena Rodriguez had handpicked her crew of 200, the best scientists and engineers humanity could offer. Their mission was simple: map the unexplored sectors beyond hegemony territory and search for resources that might help Earth negotiate better terms with their alien rulers. Chen remembered the send-off ceremony, the hope in Rodriguez's eyes as she spoke about expanding human knowledge. The captain had promised to return with discoveries that would change everything. Now, 15 years later, that promise might be coming true in ways no one had imagined. The holographic display shifted, showing long-range sensor data from the outer monitoring stations. The Quantum Dawn was approaching at impossible speed, its trajectory suggesting it had emerged from a region of space that should have been empty. The ship's hull configuration had changed dramatically. Strange geometric patterns covered its surface, and energy readings suggested power systems far beyond human technology. "Admiral, we're receiving a direct hail from the vessel," Torres reported, his voice tight with nervousness. "It's Captain Rodriguez, ma'am. Audio only." Chen's heart pounded as she accepted the transmission. Static filled the command center, briefly before a familiar voice emerged, though deeper and more controlled than Chen remembered. "Earth Defense Command, this is Captain Elena Rodriguez of the exploration vessel Quantum Dawn, requesting permission to approach and dock. We have significant developments to report." The voice was unmistakably Rodriguez, but something was different. The captain had always been confident, but this voice carried an authority that seemed to resonate on a deeper level. Chen felt a chill run down her spine. "Captain Rodriguez, this is Admiral Chen. Confirm your identity and crew status. You've been missing for 15 years. We need verification protocols." A pause followed, longer than normal communication lag would explain. When Rodriguez spoke again, her tone was gentler, but no less commanding. "Admiral, I understand your caution. We are still human, though we have been enhanced. We carry technology that could free Earth from hegemony control, but we also bring warning of a threat that makes the hegemony look like children playing with toys." Before Chen could respond, alarms shrieked throughout the command center. The tactical display lit up with hostile contacts. 3 hegemony heavy cruisers had dropped out of hyperspace near the outer perimeter, their weapons systems already charging. "Admiral, incoming transmission from Hegemony Command Vessel Dominion's Edge," Torres announced. "Commander Zara Okafor is demanding we stand down and prepare for immediate boarding of the human vessel." Chen cursed under her breath. Okafor was one of the more reasonable hegemony commanders, but she followed orders without question. If the Hegemony High Council had decided the Quantum Dawn was a threat, Okafor would eliminate it without hesitation. Captain Rodriguez, you have 3 hegemony cruisers inbound. They intend to board your vessel. Can you defend yourself? Rodriguez's response was immediate and chilling. Admiral, respectfully request that you order all human vessels to maintain minimum safe distance. We will handle the hegemony response. On the tactical display, the Quantum Dawn suddenly accelerated, its speed increasing beyond anything Chen had ever witnessed. The ship seemed to fold space around itself, appearing to exist in multiple locations simultaneously before solidifying on a direct intercept course with the hegemony fleet. The first hegemony cruiser, the Unyielding Fist, launched a full spread of quantum torpedoes. The weapons were designed to penetrate any known shielding technology and had never failed to destroy their targets. Chen watched in amazement as the torpedoes simply ceased to exist when they neared the Quantum Dawn, not exploding or being deflected, but vanishing as if they had never been fired. The Quantum Dawn's response was swift and devastating. Beams of pure energy, unlike anything in human or hegemony arsenals, reached out from the modified ship. They didn't pierce the cruiser's shields or overwhelm its defenses. Instead, they seemed to rewrite the fundamental properties of the enemy vessel's hull. Metal flowed like water, systems shut down in perfect sequence, and the massive warship became completely inert in seconds. The other 2 cruisers fired simultaneously, coordinating their attack patterns in desperation. The Quantum Dawn moved through their combined firepower like it was navigating a gentle rain. Its return attack was even more precise, targeting specific systems on both vessels with surgical accuracy. Within minutes, all 3 hegemony cruisers floated powerless in space, their crews alive, but their ships completely disabled. Chen stared at the tactical display in stunned silence. The most powerful military force in known space had been neutralized by a single human vessel in less than 5 minutes. The implications were staggering. Admiral, Rodriguez's voice came through the communication system again. We're requesting docking permission at Earth Station Alpha. We have much to discuss and time is running short. Chen found her voice after several seconds. Permission granted, Captain, but I need to know what happened to you out there. What did you find? Another pause. Then Rodriguez spoke with what sounded like deep sadness. We found our ancestors, Admiral, and we found our purpose. Humanity was never meant to be servants. We were meant to be guardians. The communication channel closed, leaving Chen staring at the approaching vessel that had once been humanity's pride and was now something far more mysterious and powerful. As the Quantum Dawn adjusted course toward Earth Station Alpha, its hull seemed to shimmer with internal energy, patterns of light flowing across its surface like living circuits. Dr. James Park, Chen's chief science advisor, approached her command station with a handheld scanner displaying readings that defied explanation. Admiral, the energy signatures from that ship are off the charts. Whatever technology they've acquired, it's operating on principles we don't understand. The power output suggests they could level entire continents if they chose to. Chen nodded, grimly. Or free entire worlds, Doctor. The question is what they intend to do with that power. As the Quantum Dawn grew larger on the main view screen, Chen couldn't shake the feeling that humanity was about to face its greatest challenge and its greatest opportunity. The ship that had vanished as an explorer was returning as something that could reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. The next few hours would determine whether Earth's children had returned as saviors or as something far more dangerous. Chen ordered all human vessels to maintain a respectful distance and prepared to meet whatever Captain Rodriguez and her crew had become in the darkness between the stars. The Quantum Dawn settled into its docking approach with impossible grace, its alien-enhanced systems making the massive vessel move like a living thing. Chen watched and wondered if humanity was about to evolve beyond recognition, and whether that evolution would come at a price they were prepared to pay. The ancient truth captain Elena Rodriguez stepped through the airlock of Earth Station Alpha, and Admiral Chen immediately understood why her voice had carried such strange authority. Rodriguez looked essentially human, but her eyes held depths that seemed to contain starlight. When she moved, it was with perfect efficiency, as if every gesture served a precise purpose. Behind her came Dr. James Park and the surviving members. of her crew, all carrying the same subtle otherworldly presence. "Admiral Chen," Rodriguez said, extending her hand in a perfectly normal human gesture. "It's good to see you again, though I imagine you have questions." Chen shook the offered hand and felt a brief electric sensation as if touching a live circuit. "Captain, we need to talk. Privately. The hegemony is mobilizing their entire fleet. Whatever you did to their cruisers has them terrified." Rodriguez nodded. "Fear is appropriate. They're about to learn they've been living in a protected nursery and the Guardians are finally coming home." They moved to a secure briefing room deep within the station. Chen had ordered the area cleared of all recording devices and surveillance systems. Whatever Rodriguez was about to reveal, Chen suspected it would change everything humanity thought it knew about their place in the universe. 15 years ago, Rodriguez began, settling into a chair with fluid grace. "We followed our mission, parameters to the letter. We mapped the outer sectors, cataloged resource deposits, and pushed further into unexplored space than any human vessel before us. We thought we were doing good work, expanding humanity's knowledge and finding ways to improve our situation under hegemony rule." She paused, her enhanced eyes focusing on something beyond the room's walls. "We were wrong about almost everything, Admiral. The sectors we thought were empty weren't abandoned. They were protected, quarantined, and we stumbled into something that had been waiting for us for millions of years." Chen leaned forward. "What did you find?" "The ruins of our predecessors," Rodriguez replied. "Not human predecessors, but the species that filled our role in the galaxy before we existed. They called themselves the architects, and they built wonders that make our current technology look like stone tools." Rodriguez activated a small device that projected a holographic image into the center of the room. Chen gasped at what she saw. Massive structures floated in space, their surfaces covered in the same geometric patterns that now adorned the quantum dawn. They seemed to bend light around themselves, existing partially in normal space and partially in dimensions Chen couldn't comprehend. The architects were explorers, scientists, and builders, but most importantly, they were guardians. They protected younger species from threats that emerged from the deep void between galaxies. When their time ended, they left their knowledge and their purpose in specialized repositories, waiting for the next species capable of taking up their responsibility. Chen stared at the hologram. Humanity. Specifically humans who had demonstrated the courage to explore beyond known boundaries. The architect systems tested us, Admiral. They examined our intentions, our capacity for growth, and our willingness to sacrifice for others. We passed, but the process changed us. Rodriguez held up her hand, and Chen watched in fascination as patterns of light flowed beneath her skin, similar to the circuits on the ship's hull. The enhancement isn't just technological, it's evolutionary. We've been given the tools and knowledge needed to fulfill humanity's true purpose, but we remain fundamentally human. Our emotions, our values, our connections to each other have only grown stronger. "What purpose?" Chen asked, though she suspected she already knew the answer. "The Devourers are coming," Rodriguez said, her voice carrying the weight of absolute certainty. "They're a force from outside our galaxy, entities that consume all organized matter and energy they encounter. The architects held them back for millions of years, but their defenses are finally failing. We have perhaps months before the first scouts arrive, maybe a year before the main force reaches our sector." Chen felt her blood turn cold. "How do you know this?" "Because they've been testing our galaxy's defenses for the past century," Rodriguez replied. "The hegemony's expansion, their need to control and dominate other species, was partially influenced by subtle devourer manipulation. They've been weakening potential resistance while gathering intelligence about our capabilities." The implications hit Chen like a physical blow. The hegemony doesn't know. They suspect something, but they don't understand the true scope of the threat. Their response has been to tighten control, to suppress potential resistance. They're inadvertently doing the Devourers' work for them. Rodriguez stood and began pacing, her movements showing the perfect balance of human emotion and enhanced precision. "Admiral, humanity has a choice to make. we can accept the enhancements and the responsibility that comes with them, becoming the galaxy's guardians, or we can remain as we are and watch everything we've ever known be consumed. What about the rest of humanity? Can everyone be enhanced? Not everyone needs to be, Rodriguez explained. The architect technology bonds with those who have the right combination of intelligence, courage, and moral flexibility. But it requires willing acceptance. It can't be forced or imposed. Chen studied Rodriguez's face, seeing both the woman she had known and something greater. How many of your crew accepted it? All of us eventually. But it took time. The process requires letting go of the illusion that we're separate from the rest of the universe. We had to accept that humanity's survival depends on our willingness to protect species we've never met, to sacrifice our comfortable isolation for a greater purpose. A soft chime interrupted their conversation. Lieutenant Torres's voice came through the communication system. Admiral, we're receiving multiple priority signals. Hegemony High Command is demanding immediate surrender of the Quantum Dawn. They're mobilizing everything they have. Rodriguez smiled, the expression somehow both human and otherworldly. They're about to learn why the architects chose us, Admiral. Shall we show them what humans can do when we stop accepting limitations? Chen hesitated for only a moment. Everything. Rodriguez had told her aligned with patterns she had noticed over the years, subtle signs that the hegemony's control was part of a larger design. More importantly, her instincts told her that Rodriguez was still fundamentally the officer she had known, enhanced but not corrupted by the power she now wielded. What do you need from me, Captain? Help me contact every human commander in the fleet. It's time to make the choice. Accept enhancement and fight for the galaxy's survival, or remain human and hope someone else can handle what's coming. Rodriguez activated her communication device, and Chen watched as it interfaced seamlessly with the station's systems. Within minutes, she had established secure connections with every human vessel in the solar system. This is Captain Elena Rodriguez to all human personnel. I know you've heard reports about my ship and crew. Everything you've been told about our disappearance and return is true, but it's only part of the story. Her voice carried across multiple channels, reaching every human serving in Earth's defense forces. We discovered that humanity has a destiny beyond serving the hegemony. We were chosen to become guardians of the galaxy, to protect all sentient life from threats that emerge from the darkness between stars. The choice is yours, but the time for choosing is almost over. Responses began, flooding in immediately. Some demanded proof, others requested more information, but Chen noticed a pattern. The humans who had pushed hardest against hegemony restrictions, who had maintained their curiosity and courage despite years of suppression, were the ones asking how they could help. The enhancement process can be completed quickly for those ready to accept it, Rodriguez explained to Chen. But we need volunteers, not conscripts. The architect technology only bonds with those who truly understand what they're accepting. Admiral Chen looked at the holographic display showing the approaching hegemony fleet, then at the woman who had returned from beyond known space carrying humanity's future. Her decision was easier than she had expected. Captain Rodriguez, I volunteer. Show me what humanity can become. Rodriguez nodded, respect and gratitude clear in her enhanced features. Admiral, prepare to discover that everything we thought limited us was actually preparing us for this moment. Humans don't just adapt to circumstances. We transform them. As the enhancement process began, Chen felt her consciousness expand, beyond the boundaries of her individual existence. She remained herself, but she also became part of something larger. She could sense the approaching hegemony fleet, the hidden devourer scouts already in the outer system, and the vast network of human minds beginning to awaken to their true potential. The Quantum Dawn had returned not just with advanced technology, but with the revelation that humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. The species that had been kept in chains was about to become the galaxy's greatest hope. And for the first time in a century, the future belonged to human imagination, courage and determination. The transformation of humanity had begun, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same.